What's up, guys? Razine here, and we're going to be doing my first ever NFL mock draft on this channel. Without further ado, let's begin. So I'm doing this draft on PFF, and so with the first overall pick, I have the Chicago Bears taking Caleb Williams. Some people might be on Team Justin Fields here. Some people are on Team Caleb Williams. Some don't care about the Bears at all. But if I was the Bears, I'd definitely take Caleb Williams. It just gives you so much more financial flexibility having a quarterback on 5 years of rookie contract versus 1 or 2 years, which is what Justin Fields has left. Also, Justin Fields is a good player, so you can definitely get a pretty big haul for him because he showed that in this end of the regular season. But I don't think that the Chicago Bears can fully develop him to reach his full potential. So that's why I'd rather have him take Caleb Williams. He's still athletic enough to to run a little bit like Justin Fields can, but not nearly as much as Justin Fields can. And I feel like he just has a better passing IQ. Just a better passer. He won the Heisman 2 years ago. Was exceptional, and even he didn't do that bad this year. He still had in fact his passing rating increased from last year, and his passing yards decreased, but he still had almost 4,000 passing yards. He's still a very elite quarterback prospect. Second overall pick, I have the Washington Commanders taking Drake May. Not much to say here besides the fact that Sam Howell is not their guy. First half of the season, everyone thought he was going to be the next Patrick Mahomes. And, the media is overhyping him as usual. The second half of the season, he had Jacoby Brissett starting over him. It just shows, how much he deteriorated. Third overall pick, it's the first NFL draft in a long time where Bill Belichick is not, linked to the Patriots anymore. So, Bill Belichick's known for drafting interesting players, not super athletic players. But with the new face and the new face of the team, new direction they're headed in, I'm taking Jayden Daniels. Mac Jones is not the guy. Bailey Zappi is not the guy. They need just a dynamic playmaker on their team. Jayden Daniels, who can elevate the offense. You can elevate Ramondre Stevenson. You can at least have a double threat in the run game at least. Ramondre Stevenson is the best offensive weapon. He can't do everything on his own. So Jayden Daniels being there, I feel will elevate the offense a little bit, and they can build upon that as a foundation for the next couple of years. Fourth overall pick, the Cardinals will be extremely happy to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. He's the best wide receiver prospect in quite a while. You could say Ja'Marr Chase was a better prospect than him, but I feel like Marvin Harrison Jr. is just he's better because Marvin Harrison Jr. He won best receiver award. He also Ja'Marr Chase, he didn't play his last year, so he sat it out. So that kind of lowered his draft stock a little bit. Marvin Harrison Jr. Played exceptionally well with Kyle McCord as his QB, and this gives Kyler Murray his number one weapon on the offense side of the ball. He has Trey McBride. He's a really good tight end. But besides that, he doesn't really have anyone besides James Conner in the run game. So this will make the Cardinals offense explosive and elevate them to another tier. Fifth overall pick, the Chargers can go a lot of different directions here. The defense was abysmal this year. So that could be something to focus on. But I also kind of feel like that was Brandon Staley's doing because they had so much talent on the side of the ball. It just didn't work. And Brandon Staley is an interesting coach. But I have them going with Brock Bowers over here because Keenan Allen and Mike Williams both are, their contracts are ending soon. And they both also are getting up there in age. And Mike Williams especially has proven, he's not the most durable player. And that leaves him with Quentin Johnston as the number one receiver or Josh Palmer. But I'm pretty sure his contract is also ending soon. Brock Bowers gives you a receiving threat. He also gives you a really good blocker in the run game and the pass game potentially. And the Chargers need that. They could have got Malik Neighbors here, but I just the blocking of Brock Bowers, this is too good to pass up on, while also being an explosive receiving threat. The Giants would be pretty sad to see Jay Daniels off the board. I think because they want him really bad, and I feel like it's too early for Michael Penix or Bo Nix or JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy is not a good player. He should not be going in the first round. But yeah, the Giants, I have them taking Rome Odunze here. It was down to Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors, but Rome Odunze is my higher ranked prospect of the two. Could be kind of biased because I'm a really big Washington fan, but also it's because Rome Odunze is taller. Rome Odunze has better hands, and Rome Odunze just has that clutch gene. Malik Neighbors is a really good player as well, but he's shorter. He's explosive. Rome Odunze is also really fast though, and I see Rome Odunze's game translating to the NFL better than Malik Neighbors' game. So yeah, number 7, the Titans. I have them taking Olu Fashanu. They need to build on the offensive line and help protect Will Levis. I feel like Will Levis is going to be the guy for the next at least couple of years. They're going to see what they can get out of him. But I think they've been happy and at least pretty pleasant with how he's been playing this past year. And Olu Fashanu helps protect your quarterback of the future, along with their first round pick last year for offensive line. Olu Fashanu is going to help building the offensive line. So yeah. Number 8, the Falcons. A lot of people have Michael Penix being mocked to them, but I feel like it's pretty early for Michael Penix. He has a big injury concern with both his ACLs and both his shoulders. And even though I'm a Washington fan, I don't think it's the right spot for him to go. It's a little too early. The Falcons are happy that Arthur Smith is gone, so then they can at least use their weapons more. So I feel like they're good on the running back side. They're also really good at tight end and also really good at receiver. But why not make that even better, Take the best player available, Malik Neighbors. The Falcons offense will be insane to do. Defensive coordinators are going to be staying up all night while trying to game plan for these weapons. Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Malik Neighbors. Good luck stopping that. Well, after they get rid of Desmond Ridder. Yeah. But they can pick up, they can trade for Justin Fields. They could pick up Russell Wilson when he gets released or trade for him because trade value is really low. They don't need an elite quarterback with the weapon that they have right now. Number 9, Chicago Bears. I'd give them Dallas Turner. Just another dominant defensive player, pass rusher. They saw how much Montez Sweat did to help their team in the second half later in the season. And Dallas Turner and Montez Sweat rushing the passer. Chicago's going to be good, man, for years to come. The Jets is really self-explanatory. They'll be pretty happy with Joe Alt falling down the board because offensive line is by far their biggest weakness. That's why A-Rod tore his ACL week 1. But yeah, and this will help protect Aaron Rodgers. And as long as you have a good, healthy Aaron Rodgers, you're always going to be in contention for the Super Bowl, and that's what they need. Number 11, the Vikings. Their secondary is pretty suspect, and they could also try drafting Michael Penix here or Bo Nix or J.J. McCarthy, one of the 3 quarterbacks, because Kirk Cousins went down with an Achilles injury, and you don't know if he's going to be the same Kirk Cousins that he was at the start of the year when he was tearing up the league. But yeah, I have them taking Kool-Aid McKinstry here to help their secondary. Kool-Aid McKinstry just, he's the boost jersey sales for sure with his name. But yeah, he's just a dynamic defensive back. He was an Alabama secondary. He had one of the best secondaries, probably the best secondary in all of college football with him, Caleb Downs, all those guys. And I feel like his game will translate well to helping a struggling Viking secondary. And he can also learn from other, they also have Harrison Smith at the DB. He's a safety, but he can also, provide some advice to Kool-Aid McKinstry for him to help his game out. So the 12th overall pick, the Broncos. I'm a Seahawks fan, so I love the Broncos. They help their team a lot. But the Broncos, I have them getting Jerzon Newton. Their run defense was atrocious this year. They lost some key pieces in the run game, and Jerzon Newton will just allow them to, get that back. He's kind of undersized for a D tackle, but his ability to rush the passer and stop the run was insane in college this year. He's probably going to be the first interior D lineman. He definitely will be the first interior D lineman off the board. And I feel like the Broncos will be pretty happy with getting that. Now, the Raiders are an interesting team. The Raiders don't usually, go by the norm. They need a quarterback because Aiden O'Connell, the good of the story he's not going to be enough to, fulfill the Raiders' needs. So I have them taking Michael Penix here. I feel like he's gonna be picked ahead of JJ McCarthy and Bo Nix as the fourth quarterback off the board, and he's just a dynamic player. He was probably the best passer in college football this year. He should have won the Heisman, and he completely destroyed Texas. Had some trouble against Michigan, but his O-line did not do him any help at all that game, and he'll definitely help the Raiders team. As like Devonta Adams will probably be really happy that the Raiders made his pick because Michael Penix throws like probably the best deep ball out of any collegiate quarterback since Joe Burrow. Yeah, number 14, the Saints. The Saints. Derek Carr. Is Derek Carr the answer? He's a good bridge quarterback, and I don't think there's any other quarterback that the Saints will take this early on. So yeah, I think the Saints will take Amarius Mims here. They need offensive line. Amarius Mims is a bit of a project guy, but he has the measurables to be an elite offensive lineman, and he still had good production. He still had, he didn't have a bad season by any means. He's not as polished as the other offensive linemen on the board, but he definitely has the measurables to become an elite left tackle for your team. Number 15, the Colts. The season felt like it fell apart when Anthony Richardson got injured, season-ending injury like week 4, week 5. But somehow Gardner Minshew was able to, steer the ship back and almost got them into the playoffs. I feel like they're pretty happy with their year this year, but they need to protect Anthony Richardson at all costs. They also need to get a better defense. DeForest Buckner is good. They lost, Darius Shaquille Leonard, whatever his name is. So I feel like they're going to go for Lairu Latu here. He's just like the best edge player available here. He's also, he's probably the best defensive player in this draft if it wasn't for his medical concerns, as he was declared medically retired 2 years ago, but he still played though this year. Yeah, but he doesn't have the traditional bend that edge rushers you look for in edge rushers. He has some bend, but not an insane amount. But he can stop the run very well, and he can rush passer pretty efficiently as well. I feel like the Colts need that right now because they don't really have a pass rushing game record besides DeForest Buckner. The Seahawks is my team. I'd be happy if Michael Penix fell to them in real life, and I hope the Seahawks took Michael Penix if he fell to them. But that's not just the mock draft didn't work out that way. It's Seahawks. They don't need receivers. They probably are the best receiving trio in the NFL. They have a lot of edge rushers, especially with Shannon Nwosu coming back next year. So I don't think they need any edge rushers. They have a lot of talented secondary players, so they don't need anyone in the secondary. They do, however, need interior O-line, and they might take Troy Fautanu here. That's an option. They can move him to guard, and he's just a local guy. And the Seahawks, they're also known for doing things not in the norm. Last year, everyone thought they were going to take Jalen Carter with the 5th overall pick. Instead, they took Devon Witherspoon, and he was not projected to go that early. So I think they will take Troy Fautanu here as well. Troy Fautanu is a really good player this year. He played left tackle at Washington, but he's projected to go to guard because his arms aren't super big, and that's not the best thing in the next level. So yeah, I think he'll definitely help their interior O-line. And that was basically Seahawks' only weakness this year. Geno, hey, for everyone that hates Geno is a good quarterback when he has his O-line protecting him. And for most of the year, the O-line was not protecting him because Abraham Lucas was out. But if you look at Geno's stats with Abraham Lucas versus without Abraham Lucas, it's night and day. Geno's a top 10 quarterback when his O-line is actually healthy and blocking. Yeah, number 17, the Jaguars. The Jaguars have choked a lot. They were like 8-3, and now they're like 8-9. They missed the playoffs, and then like the previous year they missed the playoffs just barely as well. So I feel like the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, he's a good enough quarterback to be their franchise quarterback. So they're not going to be in the business of drafting a quarterback. However, their secondary does need some work, especially in their division. Yeah, they're going to go against some good wide receivers. So I have them taking Terrion Arnold here. He's just like another really good DB in the loaded Alabama secondary. And I think he'll help them immediately. Now the Bengals. Joe Burrow got injured this season, so the season was kind of over before it really started. And yeah, wide receiver might be a sneaky good position from the draft this year because it's such a deep wide receiver class, and they also might lose T against their free agency, which is a pretty high possibility. Because if I was the Bengals, I would not pay him that much money when you already have Jamar Chase on your team. So I have they can go for Keon Coleman. He's a really good jump ball type of receiver. Brian Thomas, like a speed demon. Adonai Mitchell, another big wide receiver. But they already have Jamar Chase. So I don't think they need Adonai Mitchell or Keon Coleman. So if I was the Bengals, I would draft Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah, him and Malik Neighbors had an insane year this year, and keep the LSU connection going. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Brian Thomas, all those three guys. The Rams at 19, they were surprisingly good this year. They were not expected to be this good at all, but somehow. Sean McVay, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, Matthew Stafford, they pulled through. Yeah, but the Rams need offensive line help, and they can pick with either Tallis Fuaga or J.C. Latham. Tallis Fuaga is an insane run blocker, right? He's really good at run blocking. He needs to work on his pass blocking a little bit more though. So I think the Rams are going to take J.C. Latham, prototypical left tackle, and he'll slot right in on their O-line. So now the Pittsburgh Steelers. They haven't gone below 500 in seems like 20 years. But yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers, they also need O-line a little bit. They don't need as much because they found Broderick Jones has been really good for them. But O-line, you can never go wrong with taking O-lineman. So I think they're going to take Tallis Fuaga. Their whole identity is running the ball, basically, especially with Kenny Pickett, as a quarterback. I feel like they're going to take Tallis Fuaga to help them with the run blocking. All right. Yeah, as you can see, I'm not a fan of J.J. McCarthy because people will take him there, but I feel like J.J. McCarthy's going to be such a bust. It's a lateral move with him and Kenny Pickett. I'd probably say Kenny Pickett's better than J.J. McCarthy. But yeah. So the Dolphins, their offense was beating up on bad teams, destroying them in historic fashion, like the Broncos. But when they went against good teams, the offense really did not produce that much. It kind of got stopped. And so the Dolphins, if I was they don't need another receiver. They have two elite receivers, right? But their secondary. Xavier Howard getting hurt, Jalen Ramsey getting hurt. They're they need a little bit of secondary help, secondary depth at least, and they also need edge rushers. The only real edge rusher is Bradley Chubb, and So I would take Chop Robinson here. Chop Robinson has that insane bend. He's just he's an insane pass rusher. If I was the Dolphins, I'd definitely take him. Now the Eagles. Eagles are going to have a lot of questions entering this offseason with the collapse that they had near the end of the season. So they can really go a lot of directions here. But none is more pressing at the secondary. Secondary was getting picked apart by literally everyone. Ever since the 49ers game, everyone was picking apart the secondary. So they need help in the secondary, especially at corner. And then, you get the first ever white corner in the NFL, Cooper DeJean. He's going to be he's an elite player. He's getting Yeah, for Iowa, he's really good this year, and he'll definitely be like a plug-and-play starter in Philadelphia secondary because James Bradbury, he has to go. He has to go. The Houston Texans at 23, they've been a team that was like been a lot better than expected. Mainly due to CJ Stroud and like his insane rookie season that he had this year. As at the time of me recording this, they're still in the playoffs, and who knows, they might make a far run. But this is like their projected draft pick as of right now, though. So the Texans, I don't think they need wide receivers. They have Tank Dell, Nico Collins, John Mechie, Noah Brown. That's a pretty good receiver group, especially if you let them develop the first round picks and like early round picks develop a little bit more. Yeah, and they had a Will Anderson was a really good edge rusher for them, but you can never have too many good edge rushers. And I feel like pairing up Jared Verse alongside Will Anderson is gonna make their D line like feared to come. Yeah, the Cowboys. Man, the Cowboys. I like it. Like it's always funny when the Cowboys lose and like underperform. Like no one expected them. Like they had me fueled this year. I'm not gonna lie. I thought they were gonna make it to the Super Bowl, but get humiliated there. But they got like obliterated by the Packers. Their offense is like still, I'd say, very elite. They still put up like 32 points, even if some of them were in garbage time. The offense like was still pretty good, but their defense, however, they have some real problems to address. Um, Losing Trayvon Diggs in the regular season definitely didn't help, but they still need help on the defensive side of the ball. DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons, I'd probably say, are probably like the only two safe defensive players on the team right now. So, yeah. I definitely think that they need help at linebacker. And taking linebacker in the first round might not like people might like frown at that a little bit, but when you have a prospect as good as Jeremiah Trotter, you have to take him. He can be immediate help in their run defense, their pass defense, all that type of stuff. Okay, now the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers are also still in the playoffs as I'm recording this, and Jordan Love has been that dude for them. He has been that guy. But yeah, the Green Bay Packers, they do need offensive line help, and at this point, you could reach and take, Kingsley Sumataya. You could also reach up and take. I'm trying to find the guy from Arizona, but the Arizona offensive lineman, can't find him here. Center is way too early to take, and they're pretty good at center. So yeah. So I'll have them take Kingsley Sumataya from BYU. He can help them at the offensive line, which is probably the biggest need right now. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield's also been that guy this year, and so I don't think there's no need to replace him. They need offensive line. Besides Tristan Wirfs, they need a lot of help on the offensive line, along with a lot of teams here. But with the way that the board's shaken up, I don't think like they could pass up on Keon Coleman. Like they don't need another wide receiver, but like Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are getting up there in age, and Keon Coleman is just too good of a prospect to pass up on. So yeah. Arizona Cardinals here again with their Arizona Cardinals here again. The Cardinals, they already drafted Marvin Harrison Jr., right? So I feel like that's enough help on the offensive side of the ball to do. So now if I was them, I would take bolster up the defense a little bit more, and especially at the D line position, because like look at the running backs that they go up against. The 49ers, their Russian attack, CMC, you could also include Deebo Samuel, right? The Rams, Kyren Williams has been a dog this year, and I think he's going to continue to do that. And then the Seahawks, Kenneth Walker, like he's probably a top 5, top 7 running back at the least, and Zach Charbonnet is a big dude too. So they need Leonard Taylor to help bolster down the defensive line to stop the run, and he did that for Miami. So yeah. The Chiefs at 28, they do need pass catchers, but Rashee Rice is kind of emerging as like the go-to guy. But Travis Kelce is getting older, so like you can never have too many good receivers. You know, that's what they say. So they could take Adonai Mitchell for that big body receiver. They could also take Xavier Legette as a slot guy. Xavier Worthy, they can take him. This receiver class is so deep. Troy Franklin. But if I was them, I'm taking Adonai Mitchell. Just a big body receiver. They don't Rashee Rice is not like a big body receiver. So and Travis Kelce is starting to decline. So giving them another big threat, a big vertical threat, would like open up the passing game for Travis Kelce and for Rashee Rice. Now the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills, their defense has always been good, but this year they've been decimated with injuries. So we have like Von Miller is getting up there in age too. Like the whole defense is just like old or injured, So they need help. Like this pick, if I was the Buffalo Bills, I'd like help their defense with this pick. And to do that, I think Kalen King is the pick here at corner. He's a very good corner. Penn State's defense was elite this year, and he played a big part of that alongside Chop Robinson, obviously. And he will be like a much-needed addition to the Buffalo Bills secondary. Now, pick number 30, the Lions. Wow, with a lot. No one expected the Lions to be this good this year. Like, people were on the bandwagon a little bit, but no one would think that they're like, still fighting for the playoffs, fighting for a chance to go to the Super Bowl right now. And yeah, that's Dan Campbell's culture has been really good for them. But that being said, the Lions offense, elite. Defense, not so much. Aiden Hutchinson has been proven to be a really good player for them, but they need help in that Lions secondary because like everyone that they've gone against has picked apart that secondary. Like CeeDee Lamb dropped like 230 yards. That's CeeDee Lamb, but that's still like you don't want any receiver getting that many yards on your secondary. So to do that, get a plug-and-play starter, Nate Wiggins from Clemson. He'll help their team out immediately. The San Francisco 49ers at pick 31. This should be the second last pick of the draft. For the 49ers are good at everything, basically, except quarterback, potentially. But I don't think they would draft up a quarterback right now. They still probably roll with Brock Purdy, unless he completely plays horrible in the playoffs. And yeah, so this is recorded before the playoff game, by the way. So yeah, but the 49ers, I think they're just going to take the best player available. And yeah, and just like another edge rusher, because you can never have too many edge rushers. And yeah, so if I was the 49ers, I'd end up taking Braylon Trice from Washington. He's been an elite player this year. He's been a clutch player this year. He completely dominated Texas's O-line like no one has besides him in like the recent history. So he's going to be a great addition to the 49ers rush defense. They already have Nick Bosa and Chase Young, but he can develop under them, and then he'll be an eventual replacement for Chase Young at least. The last team, the Baltimore Ravens. I'll give Lamar Jackson another receiver threat, so he never gets too bored of them. But yeah, Xavier Worthy is that dude. He is that guy, and Xavier Worthy would be a great addition to the Ravens. He's a really fast guy, good slot guy. He also can run vertically, like take the top off of defenses. Him and Zay Flowers would be in like a really nice combo. So, and that will keep your MVP happy. So I had him taking Xavier Worthy here. Yeah, so that's the end of the mock draft. And yeah, these are the full results you wanted to see. And yeah, Super Bowl prediction. I'm taking the Ravens versus 49ers, and the Ravens winning. But yeah, so with that being said, thank you, and I hope you guys have a good day. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out.